cords. Because I think the problem is the short on that end of the cord. And I'll just swap sides with the cord. And maybe, hopefully that'll fix our problem. Not going and buy another cord. She's like, killing me, Tony. I can't even listen to you. And I get the first part of the show and then it cuts off every day at the same time. So, so we gotta monitor and make sure that they can hear. Okay, so we just gotta connect. There's an extension back here. So there's no air. Extension. Okay, I think I got it here. Okay, this was on that end right there. So I need to move this back. So that way. Put this on this end right here. Okay. Oh, Thomas, I ain't heard him in a long time. Whatever happened to him? That boy could sing. He like fell off the block. All right, get him right there. Plug this back up. You check it on the bottom to make sure it's still coming through. I don't recognize that we have an extension on there. That might be the problem. I might just have to go get a super long cord.
incentive trips around the world, like the all-expense paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Cincy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.cincy.us, for our income disclosure statement.
Hi, this is Dolores with Robinson Family Mortuary. COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating to our community, and we have served numerous families affected by it. Planning a funeral is difficult, but a sudden loss during this pandemic can be even more stressful. Robinson Family Mortuary can help ease your stress and serves all of Central Louisiana, including Natchitoches, Oakdale, Marksville, Leesville, Fort Polk, and most every parish in the entire state. The newly renovated Robinson Family Mortuary is located at 1815 Military Highway anytime by calling 318-442-7300. That's 318-442-7300, or visit us online at robinsonfm.com. Robinson Family Mortuary, without delay, can arrange for a traditional funeral service, cremation, ship in or ship out, including military. We accept all assignable and verifiable life insurance policies. With just one call to 318-442-7300, all of your homegoing needs can be taken care of at our newly remodeled Robinson Family Mortuary. Robinson Family Mortuary, a family serving families.
There's been a lot of talk about the side effects of COVID-19 vaccines. Some people have experienced mild to moderate pain or swelling in their arms where the shot was given, fever, chills, tiredness, and or headaches. These are normal and a positive sign that your body is building protection against the coronavirus. If you're 16 years old or older, visit covidvaccine.la.gov to find out where you can get one of the COVID-19 vaccines and help bring back Louisiana.
Come to the Natchitoches Jazz R&B Festival on May 22nd on the downtown riverbank, featuring country star Neil McCoy, Rare Earth lead singer Peter Rivera, Dwayne Dupsy and the Zydeco Hellraisers, AC/DC tribute band Back in Black, Johnny O'Quick and the Moondogs, and many more. 17 bands on the Natchitoches Regional Medical Center, Alliance Compressor, and Southern Script stages. There are limited tickets. Get yours today. Go to www.natchjazzfest.com. That's natchjazzfest.com.
Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5 The Vibe and 1110 AM KGTP Alexandria Pineville.
It's time for the scripture of the day, and now the beautiful Bianca Brown.
Good morning, it's Bianca Brown with your Eyes Open Scripture of the Day. Today's scripture comes from the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 14. If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and will forgive their sin, and heal their land. Today's scripture is being brought to you by the Monroe Street Church of Christ in Alexandria, Louisiana. If you would like to learn how you can humble yourself before the face of the Lord, you can do so by contacting the church. Just give them a call at 318-448-2494 and ask to speak with Brother Jesse Allen. Or you can always write the Church of Christ at 2008 Monroe Street, Alexandria, Louisiana, 71301. As we always say, we will continue to lift you and your family up in the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
It's time for the Daily Bread with Tony Brown.
Do I have to read Leviticus, Isaiah 55, 6 through 13? My word shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish what I please. Isaiah 55, 11. Do I really have to read Leviticus? A young executive asked the author this in an earnest as we talked about the value of spending time in reading the Bible. The Old Testament seems so boring and difficult, he said. Many Christians feel this way. The answer, of course, is that the Old Testament, including Leviticus, offers background and even contrast, essential to grasping the New Testament. It's history, is what it is. We learn from history. While in the New Testament is is what we live by, plain and simple. What we live by. It's the document, or the doctrine rather, that we live by. Now, while Isaiah challenges us to seek God, 55:6, he also promises us that God's word accomplishes what the Lord wants it to accomplish. Verse 11, Scripture is alive and powerful, Hebrews 4:12, and it is useful to teach, correct, and instruct us. 2 Timothy 3:16, New Testament. God's word never returns void, Isaiah 55, 8 through 11. But sometimes it is not until later that God's word come to mind as we need them. The Holy Spirit uses the truths we've stored from reading or memorizations and helps us to apply them at just the right time. For example, Leviticus 19:10 through 11 speaks of business competition and even caring for the poor. The Spirit can remind us of these concepts, and we can use them if we've spent time reading and contemplating that passage. Reading the Bible turns our minds into storehouses, though which the Spirit can work. That's a great reason to read Leviticus and the other 65 books as well. Lord, I want to learn to love your word more and more. Teach me and help me to hide it in my heart so that I can live it. Be encouraged by it and help others to know it too. To understand the word of God, rely on the Spirit of God. And we know we must worship him in spirit and in truth. I'm Tony Brown, and that's today's Daily Bread.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears. And remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Time is really wasted.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community healthcare center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical healthcare services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's healthcare needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified Kid Med site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Denisha Edwards, City News Manager for the Drum newspaper in Ponchatoula and Baton Rouge. My job is to make sure your stories get told. I make sure you know what's happening in your community. Whether that's exciting, informative, or just entertainment, your news matters at the Drum. But we can't do it all alone, and no one knows the community better than you. That's why I'm asking you to share your stories with me. At the Drum, we believe a community that is informed is a strong one. So if you've got important news, witty insight, upcoming events, or even a wedding announcement, call me at 225-927-3717 or email me news to news@thedrumnewspaper.info. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter today as we report your news.
Come to the Natchitoches Jazz R&B Festival on May 22nd on the downtown riverbank, featuring country star Neil McCoy, Rare Earth lead singer Peter Rivera, Dwayne Dupsy and the Zydeco Hellraisers, AC/DC tribute band Back in Black, Johnny Earthquake and the Moondogs, and many more. 17 bands on the Natchitoches Regional Medical Center, Alliance Compressor, and Southern Script stages. There are limited tickets. Get yours today. Go to www.natchjazzfest.com. That's natchjazzfest.com.
Who wants to start going to grandma's for Sunday dinner again? Who's ready to attend fairs and festivals again? Who's ready to relax with friends and family at the pool again? If that's you and you're 16 years old or older, you can now get one of the COVID-19 vaccines, which are authorized by the FDA as safe and effective. Visit covidvaccine.la.gov to find out where you can get the COVID-19 vaccine and help bring back Louisiana.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Beaumange in Gaines and Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Eyes Open News Time, 46 minutes past the hour. 46 minutes past the hour right here on your premier morning news magazine. How you doing this morning, Q? Pick up that mic. Did you guys flood over there in Pineville yesterday?
No, it's pretty good on our end.
Pretty good. We were lucky. We dodged the bullet. Thank you, Q. This is Tuesday, May the 18th. We have all the news you can use. Bring up that shaft for me just a tad, Q, that where I can hear it. Perfecto. That's good. Top of the morning to you. And, of course, we were having technical difficulties. I'm glad I went down to Bunkie yesterday. And a lot of loyal listeners. Linda Thomas, like I mentioned her, just to name a few, and Lynn. were telling me that they were having problems hearing the show online. I think we've corrected the problem. We just found out that we had a bad connection. So I removed the connection, and hopefully you'll get to see one of the most watched and listened to shows in all of Louisiana. This morning, I do want to remind you that we're going to be showing video this morning. You'll probably only be able to hear the audio because we don't have the computer sharing capabilities right now to bring up what we're looking at on Facebook. But I guarantee you, immediately after we do and expose the video, we will share it on all of our Facebooks as well as all of our social media aspects. You'll be able to see the interview, not only the interviews, but the video as Eyes Open exclusives ponders the systemic racism, sexual harassment, unfair hiring, and promotion practice against black and brown Alexandria police officers by the highest levels of the command structure. The videotape beating of a scared, innocent young black man, Dequarius Brown, and the brave former high-ranking black officers who were fired, demoted, and humiliated by the then Chief of Police, Jared King, for trying to expose it, and the Jeff Hall administration and its police commissioner, Darrell Terry, who both allegedly have covered it up to this day. 2 years of a cover-up. The video has never been released. So for the first time, right here on Eyes Open with Tony Brown, we got the video. We got a plethora of videos. In all, probably more than 1 hour of body cam footage that we've been able to obtain. We will show body cam footage from, of course, Kenneth Rochelle. He is the one allegedly that pistol whipped Dequarius Brown, and it's not allegedly. I saw it with my own eyes, folks. Not only did he pistol whip him twice, kicked him a couple times, hit him in the back, pointed a gun to his throat, and then jerked him up while he was handcuffed, almost in a lynching style move by his hoodie with so much force, lifting the 20-year-old, 140-pound kid to the point where the kid's head, the victim's head, almost hit Kenny Rochelle's head when he was pulling them up. And it's profane, it's graphic, and I will warn you, when you hear the audio and you see the footage, we will play it in its entirety. We will play the stinging F-bomb words. We will play just the cops after arresting this innocent young man in a jubilation, so to speak, giving each other a proverbial high five, patting themselves on the back and saying to the effect cue, old school, this is how we do it. So that video coming up. Wake up your friends, wake up your family, call Dequarius Brown's family. We are going to expose this. We have former Police Lieutenant Darrell Clark and, of course, Captain Reginald Cooper, both with spotless records for nearly 30 years until the appointment of Jared King as Alexandria's police chief. We also have former Assistant U.S. Attorney Brett Grayson, who now represents not only brave whistleblowers who I just mentioned, but also other Alexandria residents who now have active lawsuits against the city of Alexandria and its police department. Your statewide news you can use coming up at the bottom of the hour. Alexandria police have arrested a 15-year-old in connection with the homicide of a Peabody ninth grader. We'll tell you about that. Who brings guns to a graduation? Who brings guns to a graduation at Peabody? That is the question we need to be asking, and certainly something needs to be done about it as Alexandria continues to be the 8th most dangerous city to live in. We know why, and certainly with the firing of the black command structure and the Alexandria Police Department, at least two of them still there, but you have what we call black flight. You have a list of more than 30 black, brown, Puerto Rican, and even Mexican-American officers who have fled the Alexandria Police Department and are warning any cadet or potential cadet. Alexandria in its current state, the police department, is not where you want to be. If you want peace of mind, if you want to be void of systemic racism, if you want to be demoted, if you want to feel like you don't belong there, then you can go. But if you black or brown and you plan on going to the Alexandria Police Department and making a career about it, think again. Think again. And after you see these videos, you would say there's no way in its current state under an African-American mayor like Jeff Hall that we can stand and allow this corruption, this circle of corruption, which has been festering for 3 decades now, more than 25 years, and the most violent and egregious acts under the Jock Roy administration, as well as Mayor Jeff Hall. It's simply the facts. It's the truth. We'll expose it because we are not afraid to come clean or stay away nasty. Storm Waverly Lake Charles hits by floods. Mayor says hundreds of homes affected. The governor has declared a state of emergency as rescues, evacuations are underway in the area after heavy rains flood hundreds of homes. And the rain is expected to continue on today. Follow Baton Rouge Police Chief discuss update in corruption probe. They're having their problems, just like Alexandria is having this problem. Dirty cops, systemic racism, and of course, the level of corruption in Baton Rouge where they've actually had to let go, and rightfully so, their entire narcotics team, which is right now at a standstill and dead in the water until the investigation is complete. Something similar they had to do here in Alexandria. Yeah, they're trying to get that back up. The Jump Out Boys, Q. The problem with the Jump Out Boys is that they only go to black neighborhoods. The problem also with Alexandria is whether it's promotions, whether it's taking a test, whether it's getting new units, black officers, even those at the highest level of command, Q, they have the position, they have the title, but they're often usurped by the command structure, the white command structure, and even corporals don't listen to black commanders. Wow, these are all allegations that's going to be revealed right here on Eyes Open. House Education Committee removed, speaking of black, from position after comment on the good of slavery and, of course, a filibuster, if you will, of the new tax legislation without the support of the Legislative Black Caucus. So they used their black power, because the vote is black power. They used their black power to remove Garofalo, who made these racist comments saying that slavery was good. If you were a massa and your people owned land and planted cotton and tobacco and whatever the heck they sugar cane here in Louisiana, pretty much cotton and tobacco, yes, it was good for them, but it certainly was no good for the least of my people. Anti-vaccine debate blows up in House Committee as Louisiana struggles with COVID immunization. Bill to let college athletes make money from their own name. The image passes the Senate without opposition. All that and a whole lot more coming up. Phone lines are always open. 318-483-9977. 318-483-9977. Good morning. Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this terrific Tuesday. It is the 18th day of the month of May. News being brought to you by the Alexandria Emergency Room Hospital. Alexandria police have arrested a 15-year-old in connection with the homicide that took place right after Peabody's graduation at about 4:58 p.m. on the 900 block of University Street. The juvenile has been charged with second-degree murder, illegal possession of a firearm in a firearm-free zone, and illegal possession of a firearm by a juvenile. Alexandria police confirmed that a 16-year-old victim died from a gunshot wound sustained in the incidents. We are told by people from in the Peabody area that both were in the 9th, possibly the 10th grade, who were just watching the graduation ceremonies, were walking home on the back street when they got into a verbal altercation. Both pulled out weapons and started firing. According to District 3 City Councilwoman Cynthia Perry, the shooting happened shortly after Peabody High's graduation, sharing that it was a student that was shot. Perry said she needs the city to help stop gun violence, especially among the youth. This is an ongoing investigation. If anyone has any information about this incident, please contact the Detective Division of the Alexandria Police Department at 318-449-5099. I'm glad that KLB actually went out and got a soundbite on this story instead of putting out verbatim the press release. Heavy thunderstorms inundated streets, stranded residents, and flooded hundreds of homes in Lake Charles and other parts of southwest Louisiana on Monday, leaving officials stunned at the prospect of facing yet another weather disaster as the region rebuilds from last year's Hurricane Laura and Delta. It is said that the floods on yesterday could get worse as, of course, more rain is expected today. I got a call from my mother who asked about us, said that she actually had to park her car blocks away from her home to wade through almost waist-deep water to get to her home. The intensity of the storms that began in the morning took many by surprise, as some residents who suffered damage from the hurricanes were now being forced to deal with the flooding. Officials said more rain was expected in the days ahead. There are still possibly 5,000 to 9,000 people who are without power in southwest Louisiana as I speak. Between 6 and 15 inches of rain had fallen at around 6 p.m. in parts of Calcasieu and Jefferson Davis Parish. The National Weather Service said that a flash flood warning remains in effect until 7:45. A number of tornado warnings had also been issued in various areas, and the National Weather Service urged residents at risk to seek higher ground. As of around 7 p.m., the NWS had recorded more than 12 and a half inches of rainfall in Lake Charles alone. Lake Charles Mayor Nick Hunter said, "We know that the amount of rain that portions of the city of Lake Charles sustained today will absolutely eclipse what we received from Hurricane Laura and will probably come close to what we received during Hurricane Delta. The amount of flooded homes in the city is not determined yet, but will absolutely be in hundreds," Hunter said, and I believe he said, to quote, "We will have more homes flooded in the city of Lake Charles from this rain event that we had from more than Laura and Delta. Already, the governor has declared a state of emergency." Governor Bear Edwards declared the state of emergency in response to the severe weather that will make its way to southeast Louisiana, bringing with it the possibility of street and flash flooding and a high risk of severe weather. Also, they're dealing with floods in the Baton Rouge area as well, as Monday's flooding rains in Baton Rouge caused scattered property damage across the area, with flooded vehicles likely being one of the biggest pain points. If your car takes on water, here's what you need to do. Besides calling your insurance agent ASAP, don't try to start your car. This will cause more damage if there's water in the engine. Start drying out your vehicle as quickly as possible and contact a towing service to get it back to higher ground. Oil, transmission fluid, and lube may need draining before a tow. Look under the hood. This is where you'll find clues as to how extensive the flood damage may be. Check the oil dipstick. Look for water droplets, which likely indicate that there is water in your engine. If that's the case, the cylinders which are supposed to compress air instead of water, will be broken. Remove water-damaged cylinders and check for corroded spots. Change the oil and transmission fluid. You'll want to do this again after the car is drivable and you've gone several hundred miles. Clean the interior. If floodwaters were more than a foot deep, water probably made its way inside your car. Remove all moisture. Use a wet, dry vacuum to collect standing water and cloth towels to absorb water that is soaked into the seats and the carpet. Remove seats and seat cushions if possible, and use fans and dehumidifiers to accelerate the drying process. Check the fuel tank and the line. Use a store-bought siphon pump to remove some fuel. If you note any water which would naturally separate from the fuel, you'll want to empty the tank completely. Once you know the extent of your car's flood damage, you'll need to weigh repair costs against the cost of replacing that car. Baton Rouge Police Murphy Paul will provide an update in the corruption probe into the Baton Rouge Police Department's narcotics division at the law enforcement agency's headquarters. The ongoing probe includes criminal and administrative investigations in addition to a sweeping audit of the narcotics division. Paul has previously said he had concerns about division leadership, which is why he transferred all 4 supervising detectives to street patrols in March. He also suspended normal narcotics operations until the investigation runs its course. One of the latest developments in the investigation involves the resignation of Corporal Jason Acree, who had been placed in administrative immediately following his first arrest in February. He chose to resign from the department amid the ongoing corruption investigation focused largely on his actions and the alleged complicity of his supervisors. They did it. They strong-armed their way and used what I call real black power. We're talking about the Legislative Black Caucus, now that the House Education Committee chairman has been removed from his position after a comment on the good of slavery. Representative Ray Garofalo said late Monday night he has been removed as chairman of the House Education Committee. Garofalo has been embroiled in controversy for nearly 3 weeks after a hearing on one of which his bills mushroomed into one of the biggest controversies in the 2021 legislative session. The measure, House Bill 564, was touted as a way to stop college professors from teaching divisive concepts, including the idea that Louisiana and the United States are racist, or that students should feel guilty about their race. But at one point, a 5-hour hearing, Garofalo, speaking of a hypothetical classroom discussion, said students could air the good, the bad, the ugly of slavery. The lawmakers quickly corrected himself on any suggestion that there was good connected with slavery. However, the comment quickly went viral, and the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus called for Garofalo to be replaced as chairman. Governor John Bel Edwards, a Democrat, later made the same call. Since April the 26th hearing, the committee has been beset by tension, vowed that he would not return to the panel until Garofalo was gone. Asked in a text Monday if he had stepped down as chairman, Garofalo simply said, "I was removed." Good on the caucus. A federal appeals court has dashed the hopes of 900 investors from Louisiana and 36 other states who were defrauded by former Texas tycoon R. Allen Stanford's massive Ponzi scheme. The retiree victims, including dozens from the Baton Rouge area, were hoping the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans would resuscitate their 12-year-old class action lawsuit that a federal district judge in Baton Rouge dismissed in the mid-2019. But on Friday, a 3-judge panel of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, U.S. District Judge Brian Jackson's ruling that dismissed the lone remaining defendant, Pennsylvania-based SEI Investments Company, in the federal lawsuit. Baton Rouge lawyers Phil Priest, one of the investors' attorneys, and said pointed with the appellate court ruling, given the 10-year fight to have the lawsuit certified as a class action. When asked if the ruling would be appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, Priest said, "It's something we're going to look at." A debate over the efficiency or the efficiency of the safety of the COVID-19 the effectiveness and safety of the COVID-19 vaccines broke out in Louisiana's House Committee yesterday, with multiple Republicans lawmakers insinuating the vaccines are unsafe and poorly studied, contrary to the opinions of mainstream medical experts. The House Committee on Civil Law and Procedures easily advanced 2 bills aiming to make sure people aren't mandated or coerced to get the COVID-19 vaccine to the full House for debate, but not before members erupted in an argument about the benefits of the COVID-19 vaccines, which medical experts and the U.S. Centers for Disease Control say are safe and an effective way of protecting the recipients from contracting and suffering severe cases of COVID-19, a disease that has killed more than 582,000 people in the U.S. alone. The committee, without objection, advanced House Bill 103 by Representative Danny McCormick, an all-city Republican. The bill would shield people from civil liability if they refuse to mandate a COVID-19 vaccine for employees or customers of a business and bar the government from withholding a permit or business license because a company refused to mandate the vaccine. And finally, a bill that would allow college athletes in Louisiana to profit from their name and likeness won easy approval Monday in the state Senate. The measure, Senate Bill 60, cleared the Senate 32-0 and next faces action in the House. Senator Patrick Connick, the Republican of Marrero, sponsored the legislation, said 15 other states have passed similar bills and about 2 dozen more are considering to do so. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this terrific Tuesday. Have a safe and a blessed day.
Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5 The Vibe and 1110 AM KGTP Alexandria Pineville.
All right, we're back right here on your premier morning news magazine. Time for your kids' prayer with little Kaden Johnson. Hey, Kaden, how you doing today?
Good.
All right, what do we got? Let us pray.
Dear God, thank you for your world. Please show me things to be glad about every day. Amen.
Amen. Now let's go live to Alex Donato, who's in Lake Charles, where heavy thunderstorms inundated streets, stranded motorists, and flooded hundreds of homes in that area and parts of southwest Louisiana on yesterday, leaving officials stunned at the prospect of facing yet another weather disaster as the region rebuilds from last year's hurricanes Laura and Delta. The intensity of the storms began in the morning, took many by surprise, and some residents who suffered damage from the hurricanes were now being forced to deal with flooding. As officials said, more rain is expected in the days ahead. Let's go to Alex Donato, a meteorologist for the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles. Hello, Alex, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Hi, sure.
Yeah, did you guys get any sleep last night, or y'all been working all 24 hours around the clock?
Yeah, we've been working hard on this issue.
What's the situation right now down there, particularly in Lake Charles?
Yeah. So there are areas of southern Lake Charles that have received up to 15 inches of rain, and many parts of the city are flooded currently.
Okay, so tell me what's the prospect for the forecast today. Speak up for me a little bit, Alex. You're on the radio.
Sure.
All right.
So, yeah, I mean, heading into the future, we are looking at the potential of getting up to 10 inches of rain, especially parts of extreme eastern Texas, over the next several days. The area is under a flash flood watch through Thursday, and showers and thunderstorms will be expected through Friday as well.
Okay, and how are we looking up here in central Louisiana?
It isn't looking quite as bad. There hasn't been nearly as much rain. However, those chances are still going to be quite high through the end of the week. And there is risk with you guys as well. So in addition to that, there will be a marginal risk of severe weather for parts of south central Louisiana as well.
All right, thanks, Alex. We appreciate you. Try to stay dry, okay?
Sure.
That's Alex Donato, meteorologist with the National Weather Service out of Lake Charles, and, of course, the kids' prayer for today. Eyes Open News time is 10 minutes past the hour. Hit that song off for me, Q. Hit that song off for me. Phone lines are always open at 318-483-9977, 318-483-9977. Good morning.
Music hitting your heart, cause I know you got soul. Hey, listen if you're missing, y'all. Swinging while I'm singing. Giving what you're getting. Knowing what I know in. While the black band's sweating. In the rhythm I'm rolling. Gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power! We got to fight the powers that be! As the rhythm's designed to bounce with calcium that the rhyme designed to fill your mind. Now that you realize the prize arrives, we got to pump the stuff to make it tough. From the heart, it's a start, a work of art to revolutionize, make a change, something strange. People, we are the same, no we're not the same, cause we don't know the game. What we need is awareness, we can't get careless. You say, what is this? My beloved, let's get down to business. Mental self-defense of fitness. Don't rush the show. You got to know what you know to make everybody see. In order to fight the powers that be. Fight the power.
Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community healthcare center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical healthcare services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for Then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's healthcare needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified Kid Med site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network. While many residents in Louisiana are now able to receive one of the COVID vaccines, there are some of you who have concerns, like if they're safe or have side effects. The Louisiana Department of Health understands this, and it's why they created the covidvaccine.la.gov website. They want total transparency when it comes to providing the facts about the COVID-19 vaccines to all residents. If you have questions or concerns about the vaccines, get the facts at covidvaccine.la.gov or call 211.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears. And remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
Hi, this is Bianca Brown, the Mobile Cincy Lady. Are you looking for a dream job? Well, you need to give me a call today. I'm looking for new recruits to join my team of Cincy consultants. Join Cincy today and get your starter kit for only $99 plus shipping and tax. Benefits include additional income, flexibility, incredible friendships, world-class training, recognition, personal growth, discounts on amazing Cincy products, and the opportunity to earn fabulous incentive trips around the world like the all-expense-paid trip I earned to Cancun, Mexico. Interested in joining Cincy? Give me a call today at 318-618-1832. That's 318-618-1832. Please refer to my website, lapeacefulsense.cincy.us, for our income disclosure statement.
Come to the Natchitoches Jazz R&B Festival on May 22nd on the downtown riverbank, featuring country star Neil McCoy, Rare Earth lead singer Peter Rivera, Dwayne Dupsy and the Zydeco Hellraisers, AC/DC tribute band Back in Black, Johnny Earthquake and the Moondogs, and many more. 17 bands on the Natchitoches Regional Medical Center, Alliance Compressor, and Southern Script stages. There are limited tickets. Get yours today. Go to www.natchjazzfest.com. That's natchjazzfest.com.
long time. Oh, hit back. I should've seen it from the jump. Who would've knew it really come? You don't have to love me when it's easy to take my heart away and run. You must've took off with the chauffeur. You put your bags all in the trunk. I saw the Billy pulling over. I guess this is what you want. Hey, I could cuss you out, hit my savage. You think she flew out, I deny it. Nothing in my way, I decided no. If it isn't love, why I keep coming back? I keep coming back home. And if it isn't love, why I keep coming back? I keep coming back home.
Why are you so hard to leave? Why are you so hard to believe? Can't you make it easy for me? I complicated my brain. Swear to God you made me go insane. You love me then you made me feel away. Or how you bring me happiness and pain. You get on my last damn nerves till I say that I'm done. I miss you in the middle of the club. By the end of the night I'm calling you drunk. So if this isn't love,
if it isn't love, tell me why I keep coming back. I keep coming back home. Ooh, if it isn't love, if it isn't love, why I keep coming back. I keep coming back home. I should've seen it from the get-go. Said if you love it, you should let go. Oh, we switch up like the seasons. Right back every time we say we're leaving. I guess it's never really over. Just get them bags up out the trunk. Baby, I just need to hold ya. Unless this is what you want. Oh, I could cuss you out in my savage. You think she flew out, I deny it. Nothing in my way, I decided no. If it isn't love, why I keep coming back? I keep coming back home. And if it isn't love, why I keep coming back? Why I keep coming back home? Keep coming back home.
Hi, I'm Denisha Edwards, City News Manager for the Drum newspaper in Ponchatoula and Baton Rouge. My job is to make sure your stories get told. I make sure you know what's happening in your community. Whether that's exciting, informative, or just entertainment, your news matters at the Drum. But we can't do it all alone, and no one knows the community better than you. That's why I'm asking you to share your stories with me. At the Drum, we believe a community that is informed is a strong one. So if you've got important news, witty insight, upcoming events, or even a wedding announcement, call me at 225-927-3717 or email me news to news@thedrumnewspaper.info. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter today as we report your news.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, and remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
My name is Roy Brown. I'm the manager of Bargain Box. We have new and used furniture, appliances, mattresses, dining room sets, and different other items throughout the store. We also have clothing on consignment. We're open from 10 to 5:30, Monday through Friday, and 10 to 3 on Saturday. We're on Military Highway in Trotters Plaza, and I would just love to invite y'all to come visit.
In case you haven't heard, everyone in Louisiana who's 16 years old and older can now receive one of the COVID-19 vaccines. And while you might have questions, the Louisiana Department of Health has the answers. Visit covidvaccine.la.gov for the facts about how safe and effective the vaccines are and what common side effects you may experience. Let's all go sleeves up, get the vaccine, and help bring back the Louisiana we know and love.
This is Eyes Open with Tony Brown on FM 107.5, The Vibe, and 1110 AM, KGTP, Alexandria Pineville.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tony Brown. This is your statewide news you can use on this terrific Tuesday. It is the 18th day of the month of May. News being brought to you by the Alexandria Emergency Room Hospital. Alexandria police have arrested a 15-year-old in connection with the homicide that took place right after Peabody's graduation at about 4:58 p.m. on the 900 block of University Street. The juvenile has been charged with second-degree murder, illegal possession of a firearm in a firearm-free zone, and illegal possession of a firearm by a juvenile. Alexandria police confirmed that a 16-year-old victim died from a gunshot wound sustained in the incidents. We are told by people from in the Peabody area that both were in the 9th, possibly the 10th grade, who were just watching the graduation ceremonies, were walking home on the back street when they got into a verbal altercation. Both pulled out weapons and started firing. According to District 3 City Councilwoman Cynthia Perry, the shooting happened shortly after Peabody High's graduation, sharing that it was a student that was shot. Perry said she needs the city to help stop gun violence, especially among the youth. This is an ongoing investigation. If anyone has any information about this incident, please contact the Detective Division of the Alexandria Police Department at 318-449-5099. I'm glad that KLB actually went out and got a soundbite on this story instead of putting out verbatim the press release. Heavy thunderstorms inundated streets, stranded residents, and flooded hundreds of homes in Lake Charles and other parts of southwest Louisiana on Monday, leaving officials stunned at the prospect of facing yet another weather disaster as the region rebuilds from last year's Hurricane Laura and Delta. It is said that the floods on yesterday could get worse as, of course, more rain is expected today. I got a call from my mother who asked about us, said that she actually had to park her car blocks away from her home to wade through almost waist-deep water to get to her home. The intensity of the storms that began in the morning took many by surprise, as some residents who suffered damage from the hurricanes were now being forced to deal with the flooding. Officials said more rain was expected in the days ahead. There are still possibly 5,000 to 9,000 people who are without power in southwest Louisiana as I speak. Between 6 and 15 inches of rain had fallen at around 6 p.m. in parts of Calcasieu and Jefferson Davis Parish. The National Weather Service said that a flash flood warning remains in effect until 7:45. A number of tornado warnings had also been issued in various areas, and the National Weather Service urged residents at risk to seek higher ground. As of around 7 p.m., the NWS had recorded more than 12.5 inches of rainfall in Lake Charles alone. Lake Charles Mayor Nick Hunter said, "We know that the amount of rain that portions of the city of Lake Charles sustained today will absolutely eclipse what we received from Hurricane Laura and will probably come close to what we received during Hurricane Delta. The amount of flooded homes in the city is not determined yet, but will absolutely be in hundreds," Hunter said, and I believe he said, to quote, "We will have more homes flooded in the city of Lake Charles from this rain event that we had from more than Laura and Delta. Already, the governor has declared a state of emergency. Governor Bear Edwards declared a state of emergency in response to the severe weather that will make its way to southeast Louisiana, bringing with it the possibility of street and flash flooding and a risk high risk of severe weather. Also, they're dealing with floods in the Baton Rouge area as well, as Monday's flooding rains in Baton Rouge caused scattered property damage across the area, with flooded vehicles likely being one of the biggest pain points. If your car takes on water, here's what you need to do. Besides calling your insurance agent ASAP, don't try to start your car. This will cause more damage if there's water in the engine. Start drying out your vehicle as quickly as possible and contact a towing service to get it back to higher ground. Oil, transmission fluid, and lube may need draining before a tow. Look under the hood. This is where you'll find clues as to how extensive the flood damage may be. Check the oil dipstick. Look for water droplets, which likely indicate that there is water in your engine. If that's the case, the cylinders which are supposed to compress air instead of water, will be broken. Remove water-damaged cylinders and check for corroded spots. Change the oil and transmission fluid. You'll want to do this again after the car is drivable and you've gone several hundred miles. Clean the interior. If floodwaters were more than a foot deep, water probably made its way inside your car. Remove all moisture. Use a wet, dry vacuum to collect standing water and cloth towels to absorb water that is soaked into the seats and the carpet. Remove seats and seat cushions if possible. And use fans and dehumidifiers to accelerate the drying process. Check the fuel tank end of the line. Use a store-bought siphon pump to remove some fuel. If you note any water which would naturally separate from the fuel, you'll want to empty the tank completely. Once you know the extent of your car's flood damage, you'll need to weigh repair costs against the cost of replacing that car. Baton Rouge Police Murphy Paul will provide an update in the corruption probe into the Baton Rouge Police Department's Narcotics Division at the law enforcement agency's headquarters. The ongoing probe includes criminal and administrative investigations in addition to a sweeping audit of the Narcotics Division. Paul has previously said he had concerns about division leadership, which is why he transferred all 4 supervising detectives to street patrols in March. He also suspended normal narcotics operations until the investigation runs its course. One of the latest developments in the investigation involves the resignation of Corporal Jason Acree, who had been placed in administrative immediately following his first arrest in February. He chose to resign from the department amid the ongoing corruption investigation focused largely on his actions and the alleged complicity of his supervisors. They did it. They strong-armed their way and used what I call real black power. We're talking about the Legislative Black Caucus, now that the House Education Committee chairman has been removed from his position after a comment on the good of slavery. Representative Ray Garofalo said late Monday night he has been removed as chairman of the House Education Committee. Garofalo has been embroiled in controversy for nearly 3 weeks after a hearing on one of which his bills mushroomed into one of the biggest controversies in the 2021 legislative session. The measure, House Bill 564, was touted as a way to stop college professors from teaching divisive concepts, including the idea that Louisiana and the United States are racist, or that students should feel guilty about their race. But at one point, a 5-hour hearing, Garofalo, speaking of a hypothetical classroom discussion, said students could air the good, the bad, the ugly of slavery. The lawmakers quickly corrected himself on any suggestion that there was good connected with slavery. However, the comment quickly went viral, and the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus called for Garofalo to be replaced as chairman. Governor John Bel Edwards, a Democrat, later made the same call. Since April the 26th hearing, the committee has been beset by tension, vowed that he would not return to the panel until Garofalo was gone. Asked in a text Monday if he had stepped down as chairman, Garofalo simply said, "I was removed." Good on the caucus. A federal appeals court has dashed the hopes of 900 investors from Louisiana and 36 other states who were defrauded by former Texas tycoon R. Allen Stanford's massive Ponzi scheme. The retiree victims, including dozens from the Baton Rouge area, were hoping the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans would resuscitate their 12-year-old class action lawsuit that a federal district judge in Baton Rouge dismissed in the mid-2019. But on Friday, a 3-judge panel of the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals, U.S. District Judge Brian Jackson's ruling that dismissed the lone remaining defendant, Pennsylvania-based SEI Investments Company, in the federal lawsuit. Baton Rouge lawyers Phil Priest, one of the investors' attorneys, and said he is obviously disappointed with the appellate court ruling, given the 10-year fight to have the lawsuit certified as a class action. When asked if the ruling would be appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, Priest said, "It's something we're going to look at." A debate over the efficiency or the efficiency of the safety of the COVID-19 let me say the effectiveness and safety of the COVID-19 vaccines broke out in Louisiana's House Committee yesterday, with multiple Republicans lawmakers insinuating the vaccines are unsafe and poorly studied, contrary to the opinions of mainstream medical experts. The House Committee on Civil Law and Procedures easily advanced two bills aiming to make sure people aren't mandated or coerced to get the COVID-19 vaccine to the full House for debate, but not before members erupted in an argument about the benefits of the COVID-19 vaccines, which medical experts and the U.S. Centers for Disease Control say are safe and an effective way of protecting the recipients from contracting and suffering severe cases of COVID-19, a disease that has killed more than 582,000 people in the U.S. alone. The committee, without objection, advanced House Bill 103 by Representative Danny McCormick, an all-city Republican. The bill would shield people from civil liability if they refuse to mandate a COVID-19 vaccine for employees or customers of a business and bar the government from withholding a permit or business license because a company refused to mandate the vaccine. And finally, a bill that would allow college athletes in Louisiana to profit from their name and likeness won easy approval Monday in the state Senate. The measure, Senate Bill 60, cleared the Senate 32-0 and next faces action in the House. Senator Patrick Connick, the Republican of Marrero, sponsored the legislation, said 15 other states have passed similar bills and about 24 more are considering to do so. I'm Tony Brown. That's your statewide news you can use on this terrific Tuesday. Have a safe and a blessed day.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears. And remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
This is ISO.
Your other left. John. Indeed can help him hire the people.
Rapides Primary Healthcare Center is your federally qualified community healthcare center and is located at 1217 Willow Glen River Road in Alexandria. They are now accepting new patients. Are you tired of spending long hours in hospital emergency rooms waiting to receive non-critical healthcare services? Do you need affordable medical, dental, and mental health care? Do you need quality health care for you and your baby for prenatal, during pregnancy, and up until adulthood? Do you need to sign your family up for the Affordable Care Act or Medicaid? Then look no further than Rapides Primary Healthcare Center. It is the affordable, timely answer to all your family's health care needs. All services are available to anyone regardless of their ability to pay. You or your family will never be turned away. Rapides Primary is certified Kid Med site with a sliding fee scale. Payment is based on income and size of family. Medicaid, Medicare, and most commercial insurance are accepted for medical services. For appointments and information on all medical services, including Obamacare and Medicaid, call 318-487-4400. That's 318-487-4400. Rapides Primary Healthcare Center, a new beginning in quality health care and a proud impact partner of the Eyes Open Radio Network.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Beaumange in Gaines and Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
another summer. Sound of the funky drummer. Music in your heart, cause I know you got a soul.
This is Ice Open with Tony Brown breaking news.
All right, we're back right here in your premier morning news magazine, Eyes Open exclusive. Systemic racism, sexual harassment, unfair hiring and promotion practice against black and brown Alexandria police officers by the highest levels of the command structure. The videotape beating of a scared, innocent young black man, Dequarius Brown, and the brave former high-ranking officers. I hear rejoice. And the videotape beating of a scared, innocent young black man, Dequarius Brown, and the brave former high-ranking black officers who were fired, demoted, and humiliated by then Police Chief Jared King for trying to expose it. And the Jeff Hall administration and its police commissioner, Darrell Terry, who both allegedly have covered it up to this day. This morning, we will have both of those officers coming up shortly, and we do have the exclusive video that many people want to see and that the city of Alexandria does not want you to see. But before that, I have the pleasure of having former Assistant U.S. Attorney Brett Grayson, who now represents not only the brave whistleblowers, we're talking about Darrell Clark and Reginald Cooper, but also other Alexandria residents who now have active lawsuits against the city of Alexandria and its police department. But what we're talking about here today is, of course, the videotape as well as the case against his clients. Counselor, what a pleasure to have you on this morning, and welcome to Eyes Open this morning.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to let you know that, of course, I know you anticipated on being here this morning, but because of the flood situation in South Louisiana and Baton Rouge as well, you could not make it in. So how are things going with the flood situation right now in Baton Rouge?
Well, a lot of it has dissipated, and the streets are clear today. Last night, I had difficulty getting to my house.
Well, I'm glad everything was okay, and hopefully you guys won't have too much rain. Let me first of all ask, and again, folks, I want to remind you that Brett Grayson is a former assistant U.S. attorney, so he's been on both sides, and of course now he has been hired by, of course, former Alexandria police officers Darrell Clark and Reginald Cooper, who will be joining us just shortly. We do have the video. Brett, let me first of all ask you, counsel, why did you take this case?
I knew the officers from when I was a prosecutor with the federal government, and I worked cases with Captain Larry Cootie, and through the cases I worked with Cootie, I met all four of them.
Okay, you're talking about the late police chief Darrell Cootie. Are you talking about Darrell or Larry?
No, Larry Cootie. Larry was a narcotics officer when they had the Joint Narcotics Task Force.
Okay, absolutely. I've read of course, the filing that you filed a while back. I've read some of the written and sworn statements that included in the files. I'd rather wait and talk to the officers before I kind of go into some of that. Let me ask you, what should have happened when these officers reported this case? Because, normally, as well as I know, that there were laws to protect whistleblowers. So here you have guys who came forward. They tried to go through the command structure. Nothing was done. They even went to City Hall, to the Jeff Hall administration. Nothing was done. And then finally, their last resort was to go to the federal government, the FBI, and tell the story of what they saw and what had been happening in the department, and what happened that the whistleblower laws did not protect these officers from losing their job. How does that work, and how did this happen?
Well, the whistle protection, the protector case, the whistleblower protector law, it essentially does not prohibit someone from doing something. It is a means of getting damages for people who violate it. But to get those kind of damages, you either have to make a claim and litigate it. So it really doesn't protect things. It's kind of like our Constitution. Our Constitution protects us, the different provisions in it, but if someone does not respect the Constitution, then the remedy is after the violation. So that's what has occurred here as well.
Is there legal recourse for a whistleblower who are coming out in good confidence, who then, after they blow the whistle, get fired by their employer?
Yes, and you could file it if it is, normally it's filed in state court because it is a state law. There's also federal provisions that have similar impact, but it's something that you have to file afterwards when they do not, the government or the government agency doesn't recognize that you should have been protected.
Now, what should have happened when these officers, or let's say any person who might work for a city government or even a state government for that matter, what should have happened if they went to the Human Resource Department and filed an EEOC complaint? What should have really happened?
Well, there's normally, if it's being adhered to correctly, they would conduct an investigation, and if the investigation was considered to have grounds or that it was supported by evidence, then they would need to take some action.
And what
that did not take place.
Now, in reading, go ahead, Brett. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
As is set out in the complaint that we filed, both complaints, the correct action was not taken, and in fact, what happened is an investigation of the officers for having disclosed this information was initiated, and it seems, as is set out in the complaint, that they realized the people that were involved with the Alexandria Police Department and the city realized that as a result of the conduct of the officers that was complained about, that they were going to expose the city to civil liability. And it seemed that the attention and the focus changed from correcting action to taking steps to avoid liability.
Well, in my opinion, this journalist's opinion, for over 30 years, it seems like to me, in reading their testimony and having my conversations with them over the course of the last 3 years, that they did everything that they were supposed to do. They did it by the book, it looks like to me. They filed a complaint in the chain of command. Nothing happened there. They even went to, I think, the then chief of police. Nothing happened there. They even went to the mayor's office. Nothing happened there. And then after what they describe as systemic racism, a plethora of trumped up complaints against them, filings against them by their structure of command, at that point they felt they had no recourse. Do you agree with the action that they took?
Well, I am more familiar with the case, and I can tell you that they were not only confronted with some of the, how would you say it, violations of constitutional rights that happened with other people, but it appeared that that the chief of police at that time was taking action to circumvent or get around their authority because of the positions they had achieved through the civil service system. And because of their seniority, and they had been, and having passed tests, they were in, there were 4 senior officers in position of authority, and it seemed that the chief of police did not want senior African American officers within his department, and he seemed to be circumvented, and that's all set out in our complaint.
Yeah,
and that's why they filed their human resources, and they also talked to people about some of the other constitutional violations, and nothing was done either way.
Now, when they went into human resources, and I've been called into human resources a time or two, whether it's the corporate world or whether it's in the public sector, they went in confidence to file their EEOC complaint to talk about what had happened to them and some of the things that they were dealing with not only the police chief, but even subordinates to them who were not listening to the chain of command. When they got there, what confused me is you had a private attorney who basically was hired by a very prestigious, affluent firm here in Alexandria, who was in the room with them while they were making their complaints. It seems like to me, Brett, and maybe you can clarify this, it seems like to me there would be a conflict of interest when you have the very guy who is not the city attorney, who is a private attorney, sitting there acting as if he's a city attorney, who then takes the information that he has, which is private and confidential, and then goes to the very people who have now used that information to fire these officers. Now, is this morally, ethically correct, or is this a conflict of what happened here? How does something like that happen? And do you see a problem with the way that went down?
Well, you have to realize that in most municipalities, you may have someone that is named as a city attorney, but they typically hire law firms or individuals in law firms to act as city attorneys and representing the city in various regards. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing that makes it a little bit strange is that according to the Alexandria Police Department rules, internal investigations are to be conducted under the supervision of the assistant chief of police, who at that time was Reginald Cooper, and it is to be conducted by the Internal Affairs Division. And it is the practice now that in Alexandria, the city of Alexandria, that as soon as one of these investigations is opened, that they involved an attorney, a private attorney that's on contract with the city. And that's where it seems a little bit unusual, and it's not what has been the practice in the past.
Now, as a federal, of course, assistant U.S. attorney, you've investigated police departments. I mean, that's part of you guys' job, certainly when it reaches the federal level. Based upon what you've seen from your clients, the testimony that I'm looking at here, and the court filing, which is, of course, public information at this point. Anybody, any journalist or any public person can go and get what I have. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's just to find out what these guys and why they were fired. Why do you think them doing everything by the book, policy and procedure, then why do you think they were let go? Why do you think that they were fired? Because initially, Brett, there was 4 who all went and did the same thing. Gave testimony to the FBI. We're talking about not only Darrell Clark, Reginald Cooper, but we're also talking about Cedric Green, as well as, and one name that Ronnie Howard. They all went. Now, Ronnie Howard is the active chief. Ced Green, I think, is still working with the department. So how do you justify 4 police officers, the highest-ranking African-Americans in the department, with more than 100 years of seniority experience, with spotless records? I mean, nothing egregious in their file. These guys came up through the ranks the right way, from patrolling the streets to the highest rank that they could achieve. Why is it that 2 of them were fired and the other 2 were not fired? I'm confused by that.
Well, you're not the only one, and the problem is it would call for speculation on my part, because I don't know the internal thought processes of the either the city, the mayor, or any of the people that were involved in it. I can't fathom. I can speculate, but I don't know, and so. According to the rules of professional conduct by the Louisiana Bar Association, I'm not supposed to make extrajudicial statements that might be disseminated, and I definitely would know that it would be here, that would have a substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing an adjudicating proceeding. So I can't speculate on why they did that. I can only tell you that you can look from the surface yourself. If you looked at some of the responses to motions and what that were filed in some of the administrative law proceedings, I think some people were educated within the city as to the federal law repercussions for certain actions they were taking, and they changed the way they handled the cases.
Wow. Okay. Let me ask you this. You saw the video. I've seen the video. We're going to show it shortly, an edited version. Did you see anything wrong with the way that Aquarius Brown was treated in that video?
Well, as is set out in the complaint for Aquarius Brown, there are a number of things that appear to be wrong, and as is set out in that complaint, there appears first to be improper activity on the part of officers as they approached Aquarius Brown's vehicle without giving any advisement that they were police officers or any reason that they might have, other than the fact that Aquarius, who was the driver of the vehicle, and the other occupants were black males. They were looking for a black male dressed in black clothing, and supposedly, I think they were told that he was wearing dreads, which would be dreadlocks.
Mm-hmm.
If you look in the video, there is nobody, including Aquarius Brown, wearing dreadlocks, and he's not wearing black clothing. So there is no reason to approach that vehicle if that's the purpose that you're going there. That's what's set out in the complaint.
So
thereafter, they're in an unmarked vehicle, and they start pursuing Aquarius. And they don't have a basis to arrest him. They don't have a basis to stop him. And they don't have any reasonable suspicion that Bayard, the person they're looking for, is in the vehicle. So they thus have precipitated or initiated a hot pursuit. And there's another lawsuit from the family of the person that was struck in that improper hot pursuit against the city as well.
And what's really ironic about that is my understanding that the victim, who they had to resuscitate on the side of the road, is my understanding, not once but twice, is the husband of someone who may work for the city or the police department. Isn't that kind of like very ironic that of all the people that they could have hit, they hit the husband of someone who actually works for the city of Alexandria?
That is correct. And not only that she works for the police department, but she is going to end up being a witness in the Aquarius Brown lawsuit.
Now, so you said, and I've seen the video, they had no probable cause to stop them. They basically were racially profiled because they were black. They didn't identify themselves when they approached the vehicle. They were in unmarked vehicles. So if someone, as a black teen or 20-year-olds or whatever, comes to your car with guns drawn on both sides, opens the driver's side without identifying themselves, what do you think a reasonable, particularly a black man, would do in a situation like that?
Well, I would have to correct, because I'm not sure, and I don't recall firearms being drawn.
Okay.
But a number of people approaching one's vehicle like that, not knowing who they are, would prompt someone to leave. And you have to understand that even though police officers can speak to anyone they want to, unless they have grounds to detain them, reasonable suspicion to detain them, any citizen has the right not to answer questions, a constitutional right not to answer questions, and to go wherever he or she wants to go. And if they think that the person thinks that they're doing so to avoid a wrongful action by whatever individuals that are approaching them, then they're also justified.
Okay, let's talk about the encounter with Aquarius Brown. I'm going to show that video in just shortly, because I want both officers, former officers Clark, your clients, as well as Reginald Cooper, to weigh in on it and explain to me what we're seeing. But as a journalist who have covered the cop beat for nearly 30 years now, I know bad police work when I see it. Here you have a young black man who is afraid for his life, doesn't have an idea of why people are following him until obviously he hears the sirens. But at the end of the video, when I see the body cam, particularly of the officer Kenneth Rochelle, I see a young, scared man who's being yelled at with profanity. I see guns drawn on him. I hear threats that I'm going to effing kill you. And then I see a scared, trembling young black kid who puts his hands on the ground and his knees in a submissive position to say, okay, I'm going to stop running. And what I see is an officer in his own body cam run up to him, very profane, very violent and aggressive way, hits him on the top of the head with the butt of his gun, hits him again in the back, right under his neck, kicks him twice while he's on the ground, puts a gun to his throat, and then after he handcuffs him, picks him up by the hoodie, almost using his jacket as a noose to jerk him with such ferocity and force that he picks this 140-pound soaking wet young scared teenager to the point where he almost hits himself in the head with the kid's head. I saw that. How do you explain that as good policing?
You can't.
Did you have a problem with what you saw?
Well, I must say that the video, as well as what is heard on the audio, establishes that our complaint is well grounded.
Let me do this for you, counsel, because I do want to play the video, and then I want to play it before I get, of course, former officers Darrell Clark and Reginald Cooper, and we also have, another whistleblower who used to be on the inside with the administration, Minister Randy Harris. We'll be talking to him, but I want to play that video while you're on the air right now. Now, I want to warn, and we need to go to the first one, the What's At one, the very first one with Kenny Rochelle. I want to warn certainly my listeners here that I didn't want to take the sting out of it. This video is verbally graphic. It's profane. We want to warn you that viewer discretion is advised. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to get your kids out of the room or to turn the radio down. You'll be able to hear
what's going on. You'll also be able to hear the enhanced audio of the Aquarius Brown pleading for his life and saying that, and being very respectful after being pistol whipped. I'm listening to you, sir. I'm listening. I hear you, sir. And almost trying to explain why he ran until he was told to shut up. Here we go. Let's bring the audio up full on the board.
Get on the ground! Get on the fucking ground! Get on the ground! I'll fucking shoot you! Get on the ground! Get on the fucking ground! Get on the ground! Lay over! Lay over! Lay over! Oh! Motherfucker! Put your hand behind your back!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm listening to everything, sir. I'm listening.
I ain't making a list tell somebody get on the ground.
I'm listening.
Motherfucker, you about to kill somebody back there!
They made me run. I couldn't stop and kept compressing me. I got the driver. I was trying to stop and kept compressing me.
Get up!
Oh. Is that a red t-shirt?
Shut up. Shut up.
Okay, they have him handcuffed. He's walking to the unit.
And you better hope you didn't hurt that person in that car.
And then let's go to the other video that I have queued up that we weren't able to edit into what we have. Let's bring that up because I want to play that for you too, Counselor, as well. I know you've seen it, and I do have Minister Randy Harris looking at it as well as former Officer Darrell Clark. Let's go ahead and play that as well.
Come here, motherfucker!
It looks like the same one. There we go. Now this is the body cam footage of Bobby Blanton. Too hot to. Now the video, I'm describing it, it seems like he lost his partner. He lost his partner who he's in the same car with. And then after he hears his partner shouting the F word, that's when he runs to. So now, after he hears, get on the ground, MF, get on the ground, MF, he's running towards the scene, and you see a different angle of Officer Kenny Rochelle, almost in a noose-like fashion, jerking this kid up off the ground while he's handcuffed. He's running to the scene.
I ain't making a list tell somebody get on the ground, sir. They working on one.
We got one in custody. We got him.
I was trying to stop and kept pressuring me.
Get up!
They were making me go.
Shut up! Shut up!
So he's been jerked up off the ground by his hoodie, basically with all the force of his weight on his throat. You can bring the video out, Q. And you hear him trying to explain that whoever was in his car, I determined, they made me, they pressured me to run. And of course, then you hear the officer that tells him to shut up. You know, when you arrest someone and put him in handcuffs, Counselor, isn't the correct thing out of the officer's mouth is you have a right to remain silent?
Normally that is the practice, but it is not mandatory unless they're conducting an interview.
Okay. What I also want to go to, there's a video of Carla Weinstein that I think I have ready. Now, this is the search, I think, before looking for the Bayard suspect. And this is the search of a woman who apparently is in the cold, who is standing outside in very cold temperatures in nothing more than a nightgown. No bra to speak of. She's trying to cover herself, you know, and you got 5 or 6 men outside of her home watching her while they're in her home, supposedly looking for this Bayard character or suspect. What I witnessed in there was they didn't say anything that they had a warrant. They didn't show any warrant. And when they went in, Counselor, they went in not just looking in closets, maybe the attic,
where of course, someone could hide, but they go into the children's room. They unzip a luggage, a suitcase. They look under the mattress. They're rummaging through desk drawers. They're going through mail. Is that standard operating procedure when you don't have a warrant? First of all, because to me that seems like it's an illegal search, but then get in our house, not particularly looking for someone. And the question I have to ask myself as a journalist, what are they looking for?
Well, they certainly do appear to be looking for something other than a person.
Okay, I got the video now. Let's go ahead and go to that one, Q, because I want them to come around and see it. Let's go ahead and play that. This is the young woman standing outside in the cold, trying to cover herself up.
I'm going to let her back in. Okay, yeah.
I'm going to let her back in. Let's call her Wistein's video.
I might need a little boost. Yeah, we got you. Here, you got my shoulder. You got it? Yeah. Small one up there. Huh? You got it. Yeah. Let's go, y'all. Come on. We're going to leave with you. Yeah.
So she was standing outside. Now they have let her back
in because I heard the officer said, I'm going to let her back in. So they let her back in. They're going in the attic.
Yeah, majority of the nights. Sometimes we stay with my daddy over there off Lee Street.
So they're asking about the Bayard, and she's saying sometimes they stay with my dad across the street.
You might see them because they don't have no car or anything. They always walking.
Well, he's involved in what we think.
Now, what strikes me in this video, you can keep it rolling, Q, is that they go into the attic. I think they damaged the attic because she asked them to come back in because she's too short to reach whatever it is that they did or didn't do. I see the officer coming out of the attic. And then what I see is a couple of officers. I think it is the body cam of Carla Wistein. And she has a gun in her hand. And there's a flashlight at the end of the gun, and she's searching this children's room. These kids who I see in the video, she has a gun with a flashlight on the end and is rummaging the stuff with a loaded gun in her hand, using the gun as a flashlight. Now, I've never seen anything like that before. I didn't even know that the guns had flashlights. But is that standard operating procedure to go into someone's property, rummage through their children's room, under a mattress, in their mail, in their suitcase, using a gun loaded as a flashlight? Brett, your thoughts on that?
Bring that video down.
It just,
you're asking me to speak to police procedures. You'd be better served by asking those officers. Our complaint sets out our allegations with regard to that matter, and the only reason that we have it in the complaint is for purposes of the court to consider, or the jury to consider, punitive damages.
Let me ask you before I let you go, and I am going to be asking those officers. They're here in the studio, Officer Darrell Clark, former Officer Darrell Clark, as well as former Captain Reginald Cooper. Now, they went and they complained to and filed the Assistant Chief. Let me get that correct. I don't want to demote the brother. But what they went to the FBI. You worked for the federal government. What is happening with their complaint with the FBI? Where are they with that?
I cannot tell you that because the FBI, if you were to go and ask them, would tell you, I can neither confirm or deny that there is an investigation. They don't tell you once they get started.
Gotcha. So we don't know. I mean, we do know that the FBI took the complaints, but we don't know where we are in the investigation. That, of course, is former U.S. Attorney Brett Grayson. Let me ask you before I go, Counselor. Alexandria's police force is down, certainly by, I think, nearly 33%. I think morale has been at its very low. You have some of the highest-ranking African Americans who came up through the ranks, more than 100 years' experience, who've either been demoted, reprimanded, or fired in this particular case. And you have many other black officers who have, for lack of a better word, black flight. You have Puerto Rican officer who left the department. You have a Mexican American female officer who left and went to Woodworth. I know that because I spoke to the mayor about it. But you have an overwhelmingly amount of black officers who have left after certainly this controversy, and they're advising many people who are considering the police department that Alexandria Police is not where you want to go. Is there a possibility that you may very well be handling a class action lawsuit involving many of these cops? I saw it in the report on one of the questions that I have. Is there other officers, former and current, who are African American or who are minorities that have come to you asking for legal counsel and help?
Well, what I can tell you is that we do have an investigation that involves other officers other than the ones that have already been named, and it would include them and their allegations.
I want to thank you, Counselor, for coming on, being forthright, and of course for what you're doing for these officers, because I think you guys are on the right side, which is God's side, and we appreciate you giving us a few moments of your day this morning. God bless you, and good luck with that flood, and try to stay dry today, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Of course, that's former Assistant U.S. Attorney Brett Grayson, who now represents not only the brave whistleblowers, but other Alexandria residents and possible police officers who are actively suing the city of Alexandria and the police department, or, of course, who are suing the police department as private citizens as well. When we come back, folks, we got former Assistant Police Chief Reggie Cooper, and, of course, former Lieutenant Darrell Clark, as well on the back end, the man who was another whistleblower who used to work for the Jeff Hall administration, of course, the head of the original Stop the Violence movement, my good friend, Minister Randy Harris. And we're going to hear live from them what they have to say in this exclusive report. Don't go away.
Edwards, sitting news manager for the Drum newspaper in Ponchatoula and Baton Rouge. My job is to make sure your stories get told. I make sure you know what's happening in your community. Whether that's exciting, informative, or just entertainment, your news matters at the Drum. But we can't do it all alone, and no one knows the community better than you. That's why I'm asking you to share your stories with me. At the Drum, we believe a community that is informed is a strong one. So if you've got important news, witty insight, upcoming events, or even a wedding announcement, call me at 225-927-3717 or email me news to news@thedrumnewspaper.info. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter today as we report your news.
Hello, Sinla. I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears, Chief Medical Officer of Alexandria Emergency Hospital, located at 5900 Coliseum Boulevard, next to Wendy's. Our mission at Alexandria Emergency Hospital is to provide our patients, both adults and children, with the best possible healthcare experience, with short wait times and a relaxing environment. Alexandria Emergency Hospital is open 24/7, 365. We have board-certified doctors available for expert pediatric and adult care for both inpatient and ER services. We can provide outpatient services like MRI, X-ray, ultrasound, and CT scans. We have a clinical lab and on-site pharmacy and can facilitate inpatient stays through our state-of-the-art hospital rooms. For more information about our services, you can give us a call at 318-386-8110. That's 318-386-8110. Or visit us online at www.alexandriaer.com. Again, I'm Dr. Kelvin Spears. And remember, for all your emergency needs, come see us at Alexandria Emergency Hospital, your hometown ER and hospital.
In case you haven't heard, everyone in Louisiana who's 16 years old and older can now receive one of the COVID-19 vaccines. And while you might have questions, the Louisiana Department of Health has the answers. Visit covidvaccine.la.gov for the facts about how safe and effective the vaccines are and what common side effects you may experience. Let's all go sleeves up, get the vaccine, and help bring back the Louisiana we know and love.
Hi, this is Dolores with Robinson Family Mortuary. The COVID-19 pandemic has been devastating to our community, and we have served numerous families affected by it. Planning a funeral is difficult, but a sudden loss during this pandemic can be even more stressful. Robinson Family Mortuary can help ease your stress and serves all of Central Louisiana, including Natchitoches, Oakdale, Marksville, Leesville, Fort Polk, and most every parish in the entire state. The newly renovated Robinson Family Mortuary is located at 1815 Military Highway in Pineville, and we can be reached anytime by calling 318-442-7300. That's 318-442-7300, or visit us online at robinsonfm.com. Robinson Family Mortuary, without delay, can arrange for a traditional funeral service, cremation, ship in or ship out, including military. We accept all assignable and verifiable life insurance policies. With just one call to 318-442-7300, all of your homegoing needs can be taken care of at our newly remodeled Robinson Family Mortuary. Robinson Family Mortuary, a family serving families.
Hey y'all, spring is here and you're ready to get out and celebrate. Here's what's happening around the state. June 3rd through 5th, Bugs and Bands in Kickapoo. June 4th through 6th, Bon Mange in Gaines and Sicilian Heritage Festival in Independence. June 5th, the Peach Festival in Ruston and Cajun Country Jam in Gonzales. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Eyes Open exclusive: systemic racism, sexual harassment, unfair hiring and promotion practice against black and brown Alexandria police officers by the highest levels of the command structure. The videotape beating of a scared, innocent young black man, Aquarius Brown, who you have just heard that video, and I want to remind you, we will download that video immediately following this broadcast in its entirety on Facebook and on our YouTube channel. We have a clean version that's beeped out the F-bombs. I've left them in for the show because I didn't want to water down the impact of what you saw, or what you will see later, and of course what you heard. We have the brave former high-ranking black officers who were fired, demoted, have been humiliated by then Chief of Police Jared King for trying to expose this unrighteousness, and the Jeff Hall administration and its police commissioner, Dale Terry, who both allegedly have covered it up to this day. We're talking about 2 years this has happened, and this is the first time that anyone has heard or will see the interview and the video. This is the video that they don't want you to see. Joining me now, right here to the left of me, is, of course, former Assistant Chief of Police Reginald Cooper and, of course, Lieutenant Darrell Clark, both with spotless records for nearly 30 years until the appointment of Jared King as Alexandria's police chief. I want to welcome both of you, brave brothers, to the broadcast. DC, put your mic all the way up to your face there. Good morning, Coop. Good morning, DC.
Good morning, Tony. Good morning. Thank you for having us.
All right, DC, bring it a little bit closer to you. There you go. And talking to the mic for me. Let me first of all, let me ask both of you. Let me start with you, Coop. Why do you think you were fired?
Because I reported the corruption within the department to the FBI.
DC?
The same reason.
Same reason. Let me ask you, Coop. You was the assistant chief at the time. What did you do to try to mitigate what you had saw after you and the chain of command saw this video, obviously, and we'll get to what y'all thoughts of it are in a minute because I want to replay it again. What did you see that you felt that you had to go to the FBI? And did you go to the FBI? Did y'all go to the FBI first? And it wasn't just you two. We're also talking about two who are still with the police department. We are talking about the acting chief of police right now, as well as Cedric Green, who used to be deputy chief under Lauren Lampert. So how does people in high ranks now who are still with the department, of course, we know the assistant chief, and give me his name again, because I got so many names in my head, the assistant chief, acting chief.
Ronnie Howard.
Yeah, DC's mic is not on, Q. The third mic on the end. Go ahead. Make sure that the mic is flipped on there for me, DC, and say something in the microphone for me. There you go. Can I turn it on? Now speak up into it, DC. Let me hear something.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, now we got you. So what did you guys do prior to going to the FBI?
We reported what we saw in the video, also the treatment within the department, to the HR department, to Monza Williams of Human Resources. And once we reported it to her, she had us to come to the Gold Firm and give a statement as to what we knew that was going on within the department and how we were being treated, and the wrongdoing within the department. Give the statement to her and Joshua Dara, the attorney for the Gold Firm that was representing the city.
What confuses me, DC, Darryl Clark, about the relationship of this private attorney from this prestigious law firm is that here you guys are going in making a complaint about what's going on in the chain of command, and I've read some of the stuff is unbelievable. I mean, when you guys are talking amongst yourself, working out, just talking outside, where a former chief would just come in the middle of y'all and just stare at y'all without saying anything. Anytime, and then there was him wrecking a vehicle, obviously wrecking a vehicle, and changing the tire, and y'all kind of joking about that while the car, I guess, is being washed by an inmate. He's listening in on y'all, then coming in on y'all, basically telling y'all it's none of y'all effing business, because I know when you work for the city and you have an accident, there is a procedure. I don't care if you're the mayor. I don't care if you're a city councilman driving a vehicle. I don't care if you're the chief of police. There is something that takes place, and the first thing they do is send you in for a drug test. Did that happen, Darryl Clark, with this accident, and was the accident even reported? Because it was obviously an accident and damage to a unit.
No, I don't think he did do the drug screen portion of it, and I'm not sure if he reported it, because when we were talking about it, he was very upset that we even knew about it. So I would take that to be no, he wasn't reported.
Let's talk about some of the racism. Now, I have a statement here, and I've read the statements of course, Cedric Green. What is very impressive about your testimony, Reginald Cooper, D.C., and Cedric Green, is when there was situations where you guys were together, although it wasn't verbatim, you guys it was the same scenario. I mean, y'all told y'all truth. And, of course, with 30-plus years, all of y'all with experience, y'all have good recall. Y'all know how to fill out a report, and y'all know how to tell what happened accurately. So when I looked at it, I said, this is almost like the Bible. Minister, when you go in the Bible and then you have Paul talking about something, you might have Peter talking about something, but they're all on one accord, and they're saying basically the same thing in their own words. So I was very impressed with the accuracy of y'all reports, and then the cohesiveness of the message in totality. So I said, these guys are really in my opinion, you guys were telling the truth. So go ahead, Akut.
Well, after all of us were interviewed by the Human Resource Department, Monza Williams and Joshua Dara, the attorney for the Gold Firm that was hired to represent the city, we all told basically the same thing to this to the Human Resource Department.
Y'all were in there separately?
Separately.
Okay.
That's correct. Our reports, reports that we wrote to give to HR was even turned in separately. They weren't all turned in at the same time.
Okay.
But they interviewed us, one after the other, and but we found to learn that Joshua Dara stated that he was Jerry King's best friend. So
The chief of police?
That's correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he stated that he was Jerry King's best friend. So, being police officers, we kind of,
So wait a minute. Let me back this up. Let me try to process this. So you guys go into human resources individually. Y'all basically are telling y'all side of what happened. It seems to be cohesive, and the guy sitting in there is the best friend of the guy that y'all complaining about. Not only that, but to me, it seems like it's unethical, maybe even immoral, that you would have the guy who is a private attorney, not the city attorney, who's in human resources, where y'all giving confidential information about someone who is harassing y'all, intimidating y'all, and using his command structure just to violate every civil service law under the book, who can then take that information, not only give it to his best friend, but go to the administration, which is supposed to be disconnected with human resources, and an EEOC complaint. It seems like just a blatant blurring of the lines and a conflict. How can someone wear that many hats and then take the confidential information, which is very crucial to your livelihood, and maybe tell his best friend, don't know if he did or not, but certainly his loyalty would have to be to the administration who is paying him. How does that happen?
Well,
I mean, did y'all see anything wrong with that?
That's correct. After we only learned that he was his best friend after the investigation was conducted.
He should have recused himself.
Correct, as I see it. He should have. We didn't know that he was his best friend until we were put on administrative leave. Then he made the statement that y'all know Jerry King is my best friend. Well, after learning that, we, being police officers, we looked into. Well, I didn't know they were such good friends. But then we found out that Jerry King was teaching at Louisiana College under the direction of Joshua Darrell's father, Joshua Darrell Sr., that he was the person over that dean, that
department,
the dean over that department, and that's what we learned. So we said, well, that could be possible. He could be his best friend, and he actually admitted it later on in a public hearing.
Well, let me ask this: black officers, and let's talk about racism and some of the racist offenses that happened, not only to you guys, but certainly to officers dating back almost 20 years. We're talking about 15, 16 years, some of these complaints, and nothing was done to these white officers. We're talking about black officers were always susceptible to racial slurs along with racially charged incidents. Black officers have been susceptible to being called monkey boy, trunk monkey. It's my understanding that when Lauren Lampert came in as police chief to try to get his police footing back, he had been off the streets for 20 years, he had been practicing law. So his friend that came up in the ranks, before he left, was Cedric Green. Cedric Green, under Lauren Lampert's leadership, was appointed as the deputy chief. So the deputy chief was riding along, is my understanding, DC, riding along in a squad car, just trying to get his police footing back. Sometimes, when you're a little bit rusty, you got to kind of get back on the team or get into that police mode. So there was, you guys walk into, Q, take this for me. You guys walk into the roll call, and the deputy chief's name is on the board in roll call, and underneath it, trunk monkey. Is that true? Either you can answer that. And what happened to the person who did it? Because it was identified the person who did it. What happened in that situation, and how can someone take the second person in charge of the police department and racially disparage him by calling him a trunk monkey and putting his name for everybody in roll call to see? And I understand everybody that walked in started laughing, with the exception of the black officers.
Well,
it's true.
It's true. Well, the thing is with
Go
that,
ahead,
it's true. It was written. It was never, that person was never identified through the department if they did know who did it. But nothing was done as a discipline action that we could ever see. It was never a policy that came written because of that. It wasn't anything that was spoken about during roll calls or meetings to discourage that type of behavior. So that behavior had been going on for years, though.
But not only, Reg, let me mention this, lower third coon, the word nigger was used freely. It was also reported that a Puerto Rican officer named Warren Cruz, who has since left that department, was called a spec. And of course, It says here also there's a situation where a shift on a patrol shift, a sergeant, a black officer, who, for whatever reason, for his own personal reasons, I know I got people in my family that don't eat people's home cooked food, don't buy plates because they eat what's at home. They don't even eat at restaurants. So someone was selling, some Caucasian officers were selling some dinners. I don't know if it was on behalf of their church. That's not important. But because this officer, who is now understanding worked for the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office and been there for about 16 years, did not purchase a dinner, he was bullied, intimidated. Not only that, when he went into roll call, this subordinate put some fried chicken in the roll call and said something to the fact, I know you like fried chicken and watermelon, and then placed a watermelon in the back of his personal vehicle. Did that happen, and what happened to that white officer who did that?
No, that white officer was demoted for that.
So he wasn't fired?
No.
Okay, so somebody can do something that's as egregious as that, and Kenny Rochelle can say the N-word because he didn't get. What happened to Kenny Rochelle after this video surfaced? What did the chain of command do? What did the mayor do? Darryl, go ahead and answer that one.
Well, he continued to work. It happened 2 years ago, and he continued to work.
So what did the police report reflect? Because you guys, did y'all have access to the police report? After y'all saw the video, did y'all read the police report? And what did it reflect?
Well, it didn't reflect what the video shows.
It reflected that apparently he was trying to cover it up because it wasn't in the report that he struck the guy. It wasn't in the report that he even had a confrontation in the arrest. It said he arrested him without incident.
So at the time, the command structure, some of the highest ranking officers at the time that this video came out 2 years ago was you, Assistant Chief, you, Lieutenant. You also had, what was Cedric Green's rank?
Cedric Green was the deputy chief.
And then the acting chief now, what was his rank? Captain. So here you got the highest ranking black officials. Y'all got a hold to the video. Y'all looked at the video. And what was then y'all went and got the report to see if this guy talked about any of that. After seeing the report that it basically covered up this egregious violation of civil rights of this young man, this innocent young man, at what point did y'all have a conversation together, and when did y'all decide to go to the powers that be? Did y'all decide to go to Jared King, or did y'all go further than that? Any of y'all can answer that.
Yes, Deputy Chief Green, now Sergeant Green.
So he's been demoted?
Yes, correct.
Oh, wow.
He did go to Jared King and let him know that Rachel needed to be disciplined in reference to what he had, the violation that he committed.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he spoke to Darryl Terry, the now commissioner, and Darryl Terry was aware of the video because Cedric Green told me that Darryl Terry came to him and asked him, did he see the video?
Mm-hmm.
And Green said he did, and Darryl Terry said, ooh, that was pretty bad.
So let me ask you this, DC. What did Darryl Terry do with that information? Did he come to Jared and ask for a reprimand of that officer, Kenny Rochelle? Or did he go to his boss, Mayor Jeff Hall? Do you think Jeff Hall has seen this video? And then what was the City Hall's reaction?
Well, I think Darryl Terry might have had this conversation with Jared King about it. But Jeff Hall knew about it from the beginning. When I learned about it, I told Jeff Hall myself. I reported it to Jeff Hall myself and we had an officer that had used excessive force on a black teenager during an arrest.
And what was his reaction?
Oh, we're going to take care of it.
Did he take care of it?
It's apparently not.
You want to say something, Coop?
Did he take care of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he fired us.
I would say, I'd say he fired us to stop us from talking about it.
Wow. Let's talk a little bit about.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
We were fired by the Jeff Hall administration, by Jeff Hall. Jeff Hall signed my termination papers.
Yes.
Okay.
But that
was under the.
But didn't Jeff Hall ask y'all, even prior to him becoming mayor or in his infancy as mayor, ask y'all to kind of keep an eye on things and report directly to him anything that y'all see that might have a negative impact on the department or things that may not have been kosher, DC, particularly you, because I remember having a conversation about that?
Yes, he did. We were friends.
Okay. You say were?
Were.
Okay.
Because my family owned a bar, and he would come in and drink basil, and we would talk about what was the issues in the city. And he asked me to watch or be mindful of what's going on and report it directly to him, what I thought was illegal or something immoral.
So when you did report this directly to him, you got thrown under the bus.
Yeah. He also asked me, he said, if I couldn't get it to him, go to Reverend Randy Harris, report it to him, because he's a good guy, and he will bring it to him. I did that. Me and Randy had a couple of conversations about certain things in the department. I knew Jeff had knowledge of it because later on we spoke about those issues. So he knew what these issues were.
Coop, you want to add something?
Yes, as we know, Randy Harris took it directly to Jeff Hall.
And he did the right thing. And, of course, we're going to have Randy up here in just a few minutes. And I've talked to him before. I don't think anything was done in that case, too. Let's talk a little bit about the Ku Klux Klan. I want to talk about the Ku Klux Klan. I read some of the reports. I read about this silver dollar thing. I was very familiar with them carrying the silver dollar in their pocket. Do y'all think, because y'all can say this, you know, in all of the years that y'all have worked there, I mean, y'all have had systemic racism. Y'all have had promotion issues where y'all had to, you know, y'all have had to test dates being covered up or being placed where y'all couldn't have them. You know, events or things that y'all could have gone to educate and better yourself. Y'all weren't notified about it. At every turn and every corner, Coop, Reg, it seems like there is a systemic racist barrier in the Alexandria Police Department that has been festering since y'all got there, that doesn't allow for y'all to get promoted. It allows for y'all's tests to be, even people who are not even in the department yet, in the recruiting phase when they take the test, those tests, is my understanding based on the testimony, that as it pertains to black officers, particularly black men, whom I don't see with the department right now. And then there was the joke circulating around the department when Jared King got hired as chief, that because of the way that the command structure and because of civil service procedures, that he now has a colored command. You think that was the catalyst and so offensive that he was hell-bent on getting rid of this colored command because of his racist views?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The first time I heard of the Colored Coalition was...
Oh, that's it. Colored Coalition.
That's correct. It came
colored.
from...
Wow.
It came from the Commissioner, Darrell Terry. We were all sitting on the back lot, and he drove up, and he said, "Oh, they're going to Colored Coalition sitting together, and let me get a picture."
Oh, you got to be kidding me!
Yeah. So if somebody was to investigate it and check his city phone or maybe his personal phone, he had a picture of all of us sitting on the back lot, and that's when he referred to us as the Colored Coalition.
Colored Coalition.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Jerry King for a minute. How does a guy with no detective experience, no investigative experience, who basically was on patrol, Martin, who basically was on patrol, or at the academy, is my understanding. You know, I think somebody told me he was out at England Air Park, and you know, a couple of women told me they got stopped by him. You know, and there was sexual allegations that, you know, I'll get rid of your ticket, we don't have to go this route, this sort of thing. Hey, did y'all hear any complaints about sexual harassment? I know for a fact that the woman who went to Woodworth told the mayor, who then told me, Mayor David Butler, that she was sexual harassed and felt that she had to get out there because the chief of police was intimidating her, using his position, which to me is malfeasance in office, in order to try to get her in bed.
Yes, we heard rumors of it, but to say that we can confirm that actually happened, we don't know. We don't have concrete evidence to show that.
I got a call from a woman in Pineville who worked at a daiquiri shop. She called me over a year ago. Now, y'all have heard the allegations about the daiquiri shop. She told me, and I'm going to keep my source confidential with her, because she called me. I got connected through her, through somebody else, and I had a long conversation. She was very upset. She told me that Jerry King had a drug problem. She says, "Tony, this is about drugs." She says, not only that, she says that she may have been pregnant for him. So this is while he was married. And what really was the last straw for her, she told me while working at the daiquiri shop, she walked in and found out that not only was he having a sexual relationship with her, but also one of her colleagues, that she found him in the restroom of the daiquiri shop engaged in adultery.
Yes, Tony, we heard all that. But like I said, we don't have any.
There's a moral clause.
Evidence.
There's a moral and ethic clause that you guys, when y'all take that oath of office, is the chief, he doesn't have to follow those same rules?
Yes,
he do.
So I remember, even in television, there's a moral and ethic clause when you sign that agreement and when y'all take the oath of office.
Tony, you mentioned civil service earlier.
Yes.
Commissioner Darrell Terry gave the recommendation to Jeff Hall to terminate us. Anytime, Darrell Terry's job wasn't a tested job. It wasn't an interview job. It was a job that
he was given to.
Right, correct.
$113,000 a year.
That's correct.
Did y'all ever see the commissioner at the force on a regular day-to-day basis?
We saw him walking through the hallways. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, but anytime he needed something for civil service, I remember one day he was having a meeting, I think, with the chief of staff. Isn't it Broussard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Susan Broussard.
Susan Broussard.
Mm-hmm.
He was having a meeting with her, and I think she asked a question about something within civil service. He came to me.
Because he wasn't knowledgeable about it.
He wasn't knowledgeable because Darrell Terry's first priority has never been police work. It was always his private business, either Terry's Alarms and now Terry's Secure Storage, and et cetera, whatever else he had.
Now, the Terry's Alarms, who was Darrell Terry's business partner during that?
Kenneth Rachel.
Wait a minute.
Now,
wait.
Now, Darrell Terry say he's not a business partner, but he actually worked. Kenny Rachel worked for Darrell Terry. So
now has Kenny?
So if Darrell Terry gave the advice to Jeff Hall, the mayor, not to do anything to Kenny Rachel because of the pistol whipping, the violations that he committed, then you kind of figure that Darrell Terry would be protecting his ex-co-worker, his friend.
Did Kenny Rachel ever serve in leadership positions on the Civil Service Board?
Not on the Civil Service Board.
No, he was a union president.
Now, I did see one of these videos who was riding with with Kenny Rachel. In the video, on the side of him was an officer named Bobby Branton. Does he have a position of leadership on the Civil Service Board?
At that time, he was the assistant or vice president of the union.
So here you got the very people who apparently are okay with civil rights violations of this young black man, who were actually in positions of authority that can decide who gets fired and who gets rehired, that had those kind of close relationships. When you muddle the lines like that, that seems to be a conflict of interest. Does that give particularly white officers who are in this so-called circle of corruption an unfair advantage when it comes to black officers being reprimanded or trying to get their job back from the Civil Service Board?
Definitely, it does.
It does.
So knowing all these relationships exist, how could the administration allow these type of relationships and the people to be in those type of positions?
That's why we were terminated, and nothing was done to Kenny Rachel. It gave him an advantage because he had a relationship with the commissioner.
I remember 25 plus years. Go ahead, DC.
Well, the thing is with that, it gave him advantage, but like I said earlier, Jeff Hall knew about these issues prior to going into the seat, taking the seat. He knew about these issues. We sit down countless of times and discuss these type of issues that were going on within the department. His advice to me was watch and report. He even asked me to bring someone up higher on the chain so they could watch even further within the department and report to him. I brought him to Chief Cooper. We both talked to him. One of his statements was at the time that we were talking to him, he said Jerry King was unfit. Jerry King could not even lead the department anywhere. He even made the statement that a pilot has to file a flight plan. Correct. But Jerry King was flying the department by the seat of his pants, and that he was unable to even lead an officer off the back parking lot. Now, that leads to me that they were all friends. Now it leads to friends because Kenny Rachel didn't get terminated for the actions, but we got terminated for reporting those actions.
So if you're a white officer and you're in the circle of corruption, you're going to be protected. They circle the wagons. They don't cross the thin blue line. But if you're a black officer, you're reprimanded on every little thing. And I saw the relationship of this guy just calling you in on everything. Reg, I was astounded how you lasted that long, or how you didn't kick this guy's ass, for lack of a better word, because, I mean, you know, this guy tried to take your manhood, not only your manhood, but also you at every turn. How can you walk into a job and have the guy who's in a leader position not follow the rules, not follow the chain of command, basically tell white officers, don't listen to y'all, and then tell y'all that y'all not in charge of the men who are under y'all supervision? How does that happen?
You know, Tony.
Is that the right question?
The statement that you made, I tried to stay very professional.
You did.
And in a professional manner, you kind of absorb it and move on. But
he wasn't professional.
No.
No.
He wasn't.
Let me ask you this. Do y'all believe y'all whistleblowers?
Yes.
Definitely. Yes.
Yes.
10 o'clock, let me ask you this. What did the administration inform you as to the reasoning of your termination?
Misuse of information system. I was supposedly misusing the information system. I was never tested for NCIC. I was never given a policy for NCIC. I was never told any rules about NCIC.
What is NCIC for my listeners? It's like a national database.
It's a national database
where y'all can
that we can go in.
It's a certain program, but you have to be trained on the program.
Yes.
Was anybody at APD trained on this?
No. The sergeant over the program, or the administrator of the program for our department, was actually taking the test for officers himself and submitting it under their names, which I think is a violation, because no officer was ever tested.
Let me ask y'all, we're going to take a quick break after this. I want to get Brandy Harris in this, but let me ask both of y'all. God bless y'all. I'm going to ask my listeners to pray for y'all, because y'all need prayer. This thing has been festering for 2 years, and all you guys tried to do is tell the truth and do the right thing. Y'all followed every protocol. Y'all followed every chain of command. When the chain of command didn't listen, they attacked y'all. And now, then they fired y'all. And how do you justify, as I asked, how do you justify firing two officers when it was 4 that all went and did the same thing to the FBI? 2 of them still have their job. How do you justify cutting you 2 out from something that all 4 of y'all did?
What?
As high-ranking officers who were just trying to protect the public, because your job is to protect the public, right?
That's correct.
Do you think that the Jeff Hall administration was more interested in protecting the institution of the police department as opposed to protecting the citizens like Aquarius Brown?
Yes.
Yes.
That's problematic.
I can see that at least Darryl Terry was trying to protect the institution, because he came up through the racism that we speak about.
He was trying to protect the culture within the department.
And we know about the culture they're talking about.
Yes.
The 3-finger kind. You put the 3 fingers to your
Yes.
breast, you keep the silver dollar in your pocket. The Ku Klux Klan cult. Do y'all think that there possibly could be any members of the Alexandria Police Department in the past, present, or right now who are members of the Ku Klux Klan?
Yes.
Yes.
So you're telling me that the Alexandria Police Department has been infiltrated by the Ku Klux Klan, and they're boastful about it?
Yes. When I made sergeant on the department, I had a captain come to me and asked, he said, "I see you made sergeant." I say, "Yes, I did." He said, I thought he was going to say congratulations or something. And he said, how did that happen? I said, "Well, I passed the test, and I had the seniority to make sergeant. But when I stated I passed the test, he said, how did that happen?" So then another sergeant sitting
That's to implicate you're not smart enough.
So another sergeant sitting in the room looked at him and told him, Captain,
a white officer, right?
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
Looked at him and told him, "Captain, why don't you show him that silver dollar that you carry in your pocket?" And at that time, I didn't know what the silver dollar, what they were discussing and what they were meaning.
It means Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah, later on, I watched a documentary
on Netflix.
That's correct.
I saw the same one
on the Ku Klux Klan, and they talked about the silver dollar, and the inner works of the Ku Klux Klan would be the person. If I held a silver dollar out and showed it to you, and that silver dollar had the year I was born on it, then you showed me one with the year you were born on it, then we know we could trust each other with inside the Ku Klux Klan, because we are the inner works of the Klan.
Wow.
And that's what they were talking about then.
Darryl?
Well, yeah.
Wow, this is shocking to me. Let me ask you this before I let y'all go. If y'all had to do this all over again, because for many years y'all kept quiet about what y'all saw, because y'all didn't have the authority, y'all didn't have the command, y'all didn't have the rank, y'all kept y'all record spotless. You know, y'all had families to take care of. Now, as a result of this, families are breaking up, stress and pressure, public humiliation, who I know a thing or two when the city comes after you and they put you in the newspaper any chance they get. If y'all had to do this all over again and revert back to when before y'all made these complaints to the FBI, before y'all started complaining about Jerry King, would y'all do this all over again, knowing that your family, some of y'all are breaking up and just being humiliated and ostracized, even within the black community, because they, prior to today, didn't know what was really going on?
Yes, we would do it all over again. I would.
Yes, I would too, Tony.
Anything, both of you brothers, and I'm going to ask my listeners to please pray for y'all, that y'all would like to say in closing?
Yes, I know that at the department there's still some officers, because I talked to some, and I will not mention their name because they probably would be fired also. But there's still some officers at the department that has to walk around without speaking on what's really going on because of fear of termination.
Walking on pins and needles. I made a determination here at this building when I had to call the police on a couple of occasions. Someone dropped some weapons off to me, and I think I had you come because I wasn't sure of who I was going to be dealing with.
That's correct.
So that's why I had you to basically watch my back, even though you weren't on the department. And then on another occasion, on a couple of break-ins back here, I called, and there were 3 units showed up. To my chagrin and amazement, they were all black women, all 3 of them. Nobody white showed up, and I said to myself, as a journalist and as a person who asked questions, where are the black men? Where are the black officers? And this is after you guys were let go. What happened to the black officers, and do you think from the recruiting to the academy to present day that under the leadership of Jared King that he did not want any black men in his department?
Under the leadership of Jared King,
the
city of Alexandria didn't hire any black.
So wait a minute. You're talking about y'all had 3 academies under Jerry King. 3 academies. And then all 3 of those academies, we're talking about, let's say we average 20. That's 60 people thereabouts. Out of 3 academies over the course of a 3-year period under Jerry King's leadership, not one black man was recruited to be in the Alexandria Police Department in a 65% African-American town with a black mayor.
No, I think they were recruited, but they wasn't hired.
And y'all talked about the test being manipulated and basically being controlled from Alexandria and make a call down there and says, we don't want this one to pass the test. Do y'all think that happened to these black recruits? Do you think those black recruits over the course, in Jerry King's leadership over the course of 3 years, who didn't make it for whatever reason, have legal action to maybe file a suit against about conspiracy? Because this is conspiracy.
Yes.
We're talking about fraud.
Yes.
And you know what? I'm going to keep y'all here because I had to ask a very important question. In one of these statements, it talks about Jerry King falsifying insurance, a death certificate. It says here, Q, I'm going to keep it here just for a minute. Please forgive me. There was a suicide case in Alexandria involving a high-profile person. This is documented and it's a public record. The person that owns a large car dealership in Alexandria, Walker Honda GMC dealership, the son shot and killed himself. And, of course, detectives who went out to, of course, investigate the case ruled it as a suicide. It is said here in, I think, Cooper, yours testimony, as well as yours, or maybe even Cedric Green's, that the then chief police, Jerry King, once chief, he basically, it says here, Chief King instructed the captain of the detective division who his men were investigating this death in a staff meeting to bring him the entire case file. Once Chief King got the case file, then it was found out that the case was ruled an accident. It became hall talk as to why Chief King wanted the entire case file. Officers were aware that Chief King has no investigation experience. In the initial report, witnesses clearly state that the victim, Foster Walker, placed a shotgun to his chin and pulled the trigger, killing himself. Witnesses also stated in the initial report that the subject, Foster Walker, was suicidal all day, and the case number is documented, case number 180923-42. So how does one who's the chief of police take an entire investigative case file about a person's death, rule it that is clearly a suicide, rules it a homicide, and then there's allegations that he changed the death certificate, which to me is a felonious fraud. It's fraud. And then, unbeknownst to the insurance company, allows the family to collect millions of dollars on the beneficiary of the policy, and then after that, whether it's a matter of months, Jerry King allegedly is moving into a new house with a brand new truck. Did I get that? Because I'm reading. I'm reading here.
I'm unaware of whether he had the power to change a death certificate or anything.
But why would he take the file?
That was the question.
And is that legal for the chief of police to take a file and do what he pleases and change it in any way?
That was the question. And to the credit of the Walker family, this is a sensitive subject because it was tragic.
It is tragic,
However,
but it's public record, and I'm only reading what's in the public record here.
However way you look at it is tragic. But for Jerry King to take the file from the detectives, and he had no detective experience.
That's suspicious.
Yes.
Very suspicious. I want to thank both of y'all coming in. We're gonna bring Minister Randy Harris because we're gonna need to do another piece on this tomorrow. We are out of time. That's gonna wrap. I want to thank both of you for your courage, for your strength. I might ask my listeners to pray for you. Let me share something with you that the scripture says: like a charging bear in a roaring lion, a wicked ruler is to my people. A ruler who lacks understanding is a great oppressor. I'm going to pray that you guys continue to have the courage and the strength that you need. I hope that God will continue to surround you and encamp you with angels, that those oppressors who are in the highest levels of Alexandria city government will get their due, because ultimately they're going to have to answer, if not in this day, but in the day beyond. God bless y'all for y'all courage and y'all strength, and God bless y'all for just being righteous and speaking truth to power. Thank y'all. That's going to wrap it up for this edition. We'll have Minister Randy Harris on tomorrow. We'll do a synopsis of that, so y'all tune into that show. I do want to remind y'all that we will be placing the videos in their entirety sometime this afternoon. But we have to edit them because I don't want them to be removed from social media. So they've already been edited, the clean version, bleeping out all the profanity and the F words. And then we're going to place them in their entirety on the Eyes Open with Tony Brown YouTube. They'll be placed on the Tony Brown Roman number 2 Facebook page, as well as the KTTP FM 107.5 Facebook page, those pages. So check after 12 noon or sometime this afternoon. And, of course, you will see the video that the city of Alexandria has been covering up for 2 years that they didn't want you to see. That'll wrap it up for this edition of Eyes Open. For Miss Q Johnson-Green, for Lil Caton, for my business partner, Martin Johnson, for Minister Randy Harris, and, of course, for Darrell Clark, and, of course, Lieutenant Darrell Clark, and Assistant Chief, of course, Reginald Cooper. Until next time, y'all stay tuned. Most importantly, stay safe and stay blessed.
Tuning into Eyes Open with Tony Brown. The show airs daily, Monday through Friday, from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m. right here on the new KTTP 1110 a.m. Alexandria, Pineville. You can also listen live on our website at www.thenewkttp.com to contact Mr. Brown or to report a concern in your community, or maybe you would like to advertise on the Eyes Open Radio Network. Please do so via email at eyesopentbrown@yahoo.com or by mail at Eyes Open Productions LLC, P.O. Box 13667, Alexandria, Louisiana 71315. The views expressed on this program are not those of this station or its affiliates, and are the opinions of the people who choose to participate in this forum.